got.
You are now watching Xpert's Corner on the DML Network.
Welcome into the DML Network. It's your boy Xpert, and I got another episode of Xpert's Corner. And you see him on the screen. I got the OG in the game. It's Mr. SimFBallCritic himself. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Chilling, man. Happy to be a part, man.
No doubt, man. So excited I got to get you on the show. And go ahead, tell the people that are watching Xpert's Corner, who is SimBall?
Basically, man, just a guy. Years ago, started watching YouTube, and I ran across a guy. Got to give him a shout out. Apex is free. Some of you guys may know him as Gideon Prime. I saw this guy with a finger, you know, on the screen pointing out stuff wrong in Madden. I was like, hey, somebody shares my thoughts. I started making videos. Next thing you know, EA finds it. They invite me to be a game changer, and the rest was history. But just a regular guy, man, a sim baller, just trying to get the best possible football games. And just so happens I'm linked to the Madden, franchise. So that's it, man. Nothing elaborate. It's just a regular guy, just like you guys. And hey, there you go.
A regular guy that wants the best Madden product put out every single year.
That's it.
Tell the folks, where can they find you on Twitter and your Twitch game, because you're not just twitching Madden now. You twitching a whole bunch of stuff. MLB The Show, Battlefield. I see you. Of course, you're doing Madden, but tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, man. Everything is at SimFBallCritic or Football Critic, however you want to pronounce it. I know people have given me crap about it, but the way you spell it is SimFBallCritic. Everything is at SimFBallCritic. And you just reminded me, actually, I stream a lot on YouTube, but I think I need to, start double dipping and going into Twitch. But yeah, it's same name everywhere, man. PSN, all that. Same name.
Check him out. He's got a lot of things going. Always fun to watch you play games. But let's get into the first topic, and it has nothing to do with gaming. If people don't know you, you are a hip-hop guy. In the music business to start out. And so I want to ask you, what is wrong with hip-hop today?
Man.
Tupac and Biggie rolling in their graves right now because we have no true lyrical rappers anymore.
That's pretty much what it is, man. I was thinking about this today as far as what's really wrong with it. I think the problem is the fact that there's no lyrical acceptance. I don't know, about everybody who will watch the show, but I mean, the 90s era that's my era for hip hop. I mean, it was guys before that, couldn't say I was really, really into the Canes and all of them because I was, really, really young at the time, but the 90s was my time where I understood what was going on. And that was the era where if you didn't have lyrics, you wasn't respected.
Right.
Nowadays, that rite of passage isn't there. I mean, you have a couple. You got to throw guys like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and guys like that, who I listen to. Even the ladies, even somebody like Rhapsody. She's really dope. But, I mean, let's face it. Cardi B is the #1 selling album. And nothing against her. I like her as a person, but come on, man. Lyrically, anytime a rapper can say herself or himself, they can say, look, I'm not trying to be the best. I'm just trying to have fun. That hip hop was never about just having fun.
Nah.
That's the problem right there.
So you mentioned a couple guys' names, and I think a lot of times, I know when we were growing up with the 90s hip hop, you had guys like Nas, and you had KRS-One, and you had Biggie and Tupac. You had so many heavy hitters that when they stepped in front of a mic, no matter whether they was doing a guest spot for somebody or they was putting some on their own album, that was their name. They didn't want their name drugged down and someone say, man, that was horrible. What are you thinking? But nowadays, I don't even think it's the rapper's fault. You got kids nowadays that could care less what your lyrics is. As long as your beat is popping and you can get live to the beat, kids don't care what you say. I mean, these the same kids eating Tide Pods in their spare time. So, yeah. Can we ever get hip hop back to where it's about the content more than it is about the beat that's on the video?
Well, it depends, man. And guys, y'all gonna have to excuse, my 4-year-old may run in here from time to time. It depends. It really depends on what the people gravitate to. Like, for example, like I said, guys like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are able to exist. They sell. J. Cole had a platinum album with no features. But at the same time, it makes you think, how can there be so many Young Thugs and, Little Uzi Verts? And I don't mean no disrespect to those guys, but y'all know what I'm saying. Right. Yeah. How many of those can exist? It's like it's a new act every week. And there's not as many people with the lyrical content. But I don't know, man. I just think what needs to happen is the guys like Cole and Kendrick, if they can continue to be successful, even guys like Big Sean, if they can continue to be successful with lyricism, I think it's always going to be a few people that's going to be there that they are really about the art. You're always going to spawn those people as long as there's at least a handful of people who are delivering the real content.
That's true. Okay, do you ever look at the rap game and think, man, I could do that?
Oh, man. All the time. I mean, I tell a story all the time, man. Like, people, a lot of people didn't know, but I was like, I was in the music business. Me and my people, like, we've opened for Nas and Common and, I mean, you name it. I mean, I've been there. I lived in Atlanta for a while. But the funny thing is when we came in, the shift was starting to happen. And as odd as it may sound to some people, I wasn't with it. I can't make that music. I can't do that. I can only write real music, real lyrics, the artistry, telling stories, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of was like, you know what? It's going to take too long to try to crack into that crowd. I'm going to fall back, I met my wife, just life started taking over. And I said, you know what? It's better to just go this route instead of trying to continue to chase a dream. I had fun doing it. But ironically now, you have a few more people who are more lyrical. So it makes you think sometimes like, man, I know I could jump in there. Yeah. I could make some of this, corny music to make a check, but it's just not in me to do it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You one of the real ones. That's what we need in this game. All right, guys. Next topic up. Let's go ahead and get into what you are the master of, and that's Madden. And let's talk a little bit about Madden 18. There was some good things about this Madden 18, and I know there was so much chatter about they ruined the franchise, they ruined the game, but there were a lot of good things that I really liked about this. And one of those things was long shot. I really liked that they put long shot in the game. I thought it added another element for that guy that's not that hardcore, getting a CFM league, that just wanted that, games are all about story mode at this point, and wanted that story mode to tie into football. But what was probably the best thing you loved about Madden 18?
Now it's a difficult question to answer, only because, I mean, a lot of people that follow me will know, and, maybe some of your viewers that don't know me can get an understanding. Being a game changer, man, it's like, I'm almost like an extension of a dev, meaning I know the future. Right. So it's hard for me to get as excited for the current product when I already know what's coming. However, 18, I think it was great to just get over the frostbite, because something that a lot of people don't know, I mean, early on, I'm not going to say any names, but it was literally people in EA that was nervous, because they was like, the game it's at a state where, oh my God, like we trying to get over the frostbite and things are broken. So for it to come out the way it did, it really surprised me. I think it ran pretty well. It had a ton of bugs. See, even some of the bugs we hadn't seen before, but that's your frostbite integration. But let me think. One of my favorite things, which I regret now because I was heavily influential with the feature, was target pass. I'm not going to say that I had an influence on the actual feature, but everyone knows I was very vocal about ball placement, control of where the pass goes. Excellent idea, just the execution wasn't quite there. In the video game sense, it wasn't as easy with replicating the time in the pocket, and your mobility was taken away. But all in all, I think Madden 18, I don't think it was a bad product. I think it was really an upgrade of 17, getting stable on Madden 18, getting on that platform of Frostbite. I didn't expect much, but I was proud to see that it did get to where it was, because I saw it beforehand, and it came a long way.
Okay, you got a lot of guys in the CFM that are screaming foul from the jump, saying we didn't get anything in Madden 18. Do you think Frostbite kind of took away from that because they were so focused on getting the new engine going? They really had to kind of cut somebody of not really helping their mode out, and that's where franchise got cut because they had to focus on Frostbite.
It did. Franchise got cut because of that, obviously. Assisting I was about to say MLB, assisting NBA Live with their franchise, getting it, basically running parallel with Madden and Longshot. Longshot took a lot of resources away. And, let's face it, people kind of got on Rex for saying this, but he was speaking from a corporate standpoint when he said that, CFM is doing okay. But what he meant was the numbers, the utilization is high.
Yeah.
So you talking about guys in suits that are about the bottom dollar. They're like, hey, well, more people than ever playing franchise. We must be okay there. So they didn't give as many resources or allocation, time to building franchise. And that's really what happened, man. That Frostbite integration and Longshot was really the selling point of Madden 18.
Yeah. And you've already been to EA for Madden 19, and you can't give out any, there'll be no videos from SimFBallCritic about gameplay or nothing like that. But there are changes for Madden 19 that are coming. We know that. And do you think they listen to the community, and not just the CFM community, but you had MUT guys that wanted certain things. You had those competitive guys that wanted certain things. Did they listen to some of these complaints that they've heard for the whole year and try and fix Madden 19 for us?
I think so. What can I say? They've answered some complaints, definitely. I will say this, it'll be interesting to see who's upset and who's not. I can even go as far as saying there's stuff that I wanted to see that it looks like they'll be doing. But again, everything can't be done in a single year. So I just hope people don't have, overly hyped expectations. And I'm not, giving anything away by saying don't be. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that we all want in Madden. And one thing I keep trying to re-emphasize is it's going to take time. And I'm not saying that to give them a pass or anything. It's just from seeing what they have to do and how many things they have to tear out of the game that's old code. And I have a better understanding of why things can't happen as soon as you want it to happen. But yeah, I think when Madden 19 comes out, I definitely think that there'll be, things that people feel like, they listen to the community. And actually, I'll go ahead and say it now. I would love to come back once the news is out so I could reflect back and say, well, that right there was one of the things I was talking about. Or I might say, well, see, that's one of the things I said maybe we couldn't get it this year. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah, because that's definitely going to happen. We'll get a bunch of the game changers together and talk about what is in Madden 19. And I think a lot of times the Madden community, and Sim, you just touched on it, the expectations that the Madden community has sometimes is just so outrageous of what they expect in a game. And maybe it's by default that they just expect the world, and then when they don't get the world, it's complaint city. But really, that's what we got to start preaching is, guys, we got to have realistic expectations of what can happen within a cycle. Because how quick, once Madden 18 is out, they're already working on Madden 19. I mean, it's not like, you know, they get to go 8 months, hear all the complaints, and then start working on it. They've already started working on Madden 19. Pretty much as that game drops, they are already thinking of what to change. They're bringing you guys out. You know, they're getting y'all's input. And so, you know, you see guys right now on Twitter, you know, we 3-4 months away from Madden. They're not going back and changing some of these big, huge changes. It's going to be cosmetic at this point of things that they can put in Madden 19. So I think that's the biggest thing is maybe the community needs to have realistic expectations of what can happen. And then how do we get the community together so that we are one voice? I know the homie Shops got, you know, the CFM movement. They got Save Madden 19 with Dubby. But what can we do as a community to get together and really just have that one voice in a smart way when we start talking to devs?
What I really think needs to happen, and I know I've said this before, and some people, you know, they hate it because it's like, oh, you're trying to keep people out. And I'm like, no. But I'm an advocate for constructive feedback, constructive criticism, but all of the nitpicking. I mean, I'm talking like people who are just trolling and complaining for no reason. Yeah, we need to kind of like silence them as far as what everybody else is trying to do, because all it does, and I've seen it. I've been in the office and seen it. They don't listen to that, and you know, you can only see so much before you start feeling like, man, I ain't paying attention to that. You know, we're all human. If somebody was at you all day, eventually you're gonna turn it off. You're not going to pay attention, and you could miss something that's important. So I just think that all of the communities need to find a way to kind of merge, at least have the same vision and the same goal. I mean, we don't have to do everything the same, because I know everybody goes about it differently. But it has to be a unified voice of the changes we want here, the changes we want to see there. And one thing we really got to stop doing is, you know, putting sim heads and competitive guys, you know, against each other. Like, it's like, I will say this, we watch the tournaments, there's some guys in there that they don't really know what they're doing. They're not football guys. I mean, come on. Yeah. But some of those top tier guys, I mean, I've met some of these guys, they know what they're doing. Yeah, you know, exactly. Skimbo and them, they know football. Problem knows football. You know, even Dubby, they know coverage and stuff like that. They are playing the game that they have available. Right. And before I met some of these guys, I mean, from the outside looking in, I would have said as a sim guy too, how do they do that? But I've had long conversations with Skimbo, and I really like him. You know, we've talked offline, we've talked in person. And even guys like Z Farls and Gibbs, they told me years ago when we met, they was like, hey, I don't want that either. The game shouldn't allow me to do that. But if it's in the game, right, I play the way I play. Yeah, so the misconception is that the comp guys or tourney guys don't know football, and that's not true. So we gotta, you know, the sim crowd does that a lot. We gotta stop, you know, alienating people.
Yeah, if you think those guys don't know football, reach out to one of them and play them one time, and watch what happens. Right. I've watched Dubby play quite a bit of football. Dubby got skills on sticks. He knows how to roll coverage. He knows how to disguise. He knows what he's doing. And you know, you've seen Problem and Skimbo on TV. Those guys don't get to that point if they don't know how to play football. Right. And so they're exploiting things in the game that they have played for so long, and we do the same thing in sim. We just have rules in most of our leagues to kind of curb that stuff. So it's just a little bit different. All right, we've talked enough Madden. Now the real reason I brought you on the show. Let's talk Pittsburgh Steelers football. So first, let's go. Today, one of the greats announced his retirement, Mr. James Harrison, hanging the cleats up. What did you like about James Harrison as a Steeler?
Man, so many things. I mean, James Harrison, number one, you know, for us guys who are not 6'5" and better, you know, he's the average 5'10", 5'11", and he might even be a little shorter than that. I think he's really like 5'8", 5'9", but he was the ultimate underdog. Yeah. You know, undrafted, I think, out of Kent State, bounced around to teams. I think he even was at the Ravens first. finds his way to Pittsburgh and just, becomes the hardest working man in the gym. Number one. I mean, Devo is what they call him. I mean, this dude, the silverback, like, forget about it as far as his strength. But just, the ultimate underdog story, man. And that dude was about his business. Like, he wasn't really the vocal leader. Yeah. He led, he basically led by example.
Yeah.
Right. And, just, put his head down, put his nose down, play football. And that was it. I hate the way it ended. I understand, but I was a little upset with the Steelers, a little bit about it, because I'm thinking, I get why they held him around. They're kind of weak in the outside linebacker department. You got T.J. Watt, a rookie. You don't know what he's going to be. But come to find out, he starts playing a little bit. So James doesn't really get any reps, but then you let him go at that point of the season. And people try to get on him for going to the Patriots, but I mean, he's got to eat, So
you wasn't one of them guys that was upset that he went to New England?
I didn't like him going to New England. I got to admit it. I'm like, New England? But
of all places, he could have gone to the Bengals. Yeah, if he'd have gone to the Bengals, that would have been worse.
Once I took the emotion out of it, and I was like, okay, at this point of the season, if you're 39 years old at the time, you're trying to get a ring, look around the league and look who's going to the playoffs. Where else you going to go that's going to give you your best shot? So I wasn't mad at that. After my emotions, I had a couple days to think about it. I wasn't too upset about it, but I was like, not New England, man. Not. And that was after the game, too. After the game that we should have won based on the catching rules now. But
that's a horrible call. Jesse catches that ball. That's a catch and a touchdown. I don't understand. They got to stop that nonsense. As a Cowboy fan, I feel your pain because Des Bryant caught that ball. Yeah. So I understand your pain. That cost us a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So I feel that. But you talked a little bit about T.J. Watt. Now, I'm a huge T.J. Watt fan. He came from the University of Wisconsin. He is a Badger. And that's my college football team, and he is a monster. He is going to be a big player. Mm-hmm. So you kind of feel that hole at outside linebacker. What do the Pittsburgh Steelers need in this draft to improve their team?
Oof, man. See, the Steelers, they always find a sneaky way of patching holes just in case. So, when they grab Morgan Burnett and they grab John Bostic, I mean, are they superstars? No. I mean, Morgan Burnett is probably a little bit, past his prime. But, with Bostic, if he can stay healthy, maybe he has some capabilities. But I think absolutely that's where the Steelers have to address inside backer or safety, somewhere in the first 2 rounds. Only thing that gives me, reason to pause is seeing that they made those moves. It gives them flexibility. So the Steelers, anybody who follows the Steelers know that they go with the best player. Whoever's highest on their board, which is why, remember I said this, don't be surprised if it's somebody like Mason Rudolph. You just do the numbers. Hey. Look at when they drafted Big Ben. It adds up. Ben says he has 2 to 3 years that he wants to play. Perfect timing to do a Aaron Rodgers. Bring him in while the guy, the vet, is still there 2 or 3 years, then hand over the keys. Because it's rumors that they really like Rudolph. I wouldn't want to see it, but I'm not going to, hey, if that's who they like I said, you got to plan ahead. But I think, man, if I had my choice, I would love to see that big kid from Boise State, Vander Esch. Would love to see him. Would love to see a guy like Ronnie Harrison at safety. I know they're showing a lot of interest in Jesse Bates from Wake Forest. Rashawn Evans is another guy that I would love to slide down to us. You know who I really would want, though, and I know he's not going to be there at inside linebacker. I want Roquan Smith from Georgia. That guy.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, he's not making it that far down the draft.
Yeah, he ain't going to make it.
Someone's scooping him up. Okay. Does Shazier ever play football again?
Oh, man. When it first happened, it was emotional watching it because, playing sports, I understand, like, the visual cues of what he was doing. Seeing him reach for his hands and then try, I was like, oh, he's hurt. Like, it's not no end of the season. That dude, like he can't feel his leg.
Yeah.
Immediately at that point, I was like, man, he might not ever play again. So then you're finding out, weeks go by, we're not getting any updates. They're still saying he hasn't moved, he hasn't walked, and I'm thinking he's never going to play again. Yeah. All of a sudden, he shows progress. Even, this past week, he was at Ohio State. He's standing, no crutches or anything. And he says, he was on a podcast, I think with Rosie Nix, our fullback. And he said that he's going to play again. He still wants to be the best linebacker of all time. So I can't doubt him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I mean, is he going to be the same? His speed was his everything and his instinct. Are you going to be a little gun shy? I would. I mean, if my spine, I went through a point where I couldn't walk. You know what I mean? It's like you say you want to play, but come on. You're human. When you get out there, you know what I mean? You might get to a point where you hesitate to pull the trigger. And
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I just want him to be healthy, man. I mean, don't worry about playing football, but if he can, hey, if he can come back, great.
We'll take
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to play again.
All right, one last question. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers win another bowl with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback?
Oh, man.
I'm a huge Big Ben fan. That guy is a monster standing back there. But has he lost his step? You got probably one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got by far, to me, and I'm a Cowboy fan with Ezekiel Elliot, you got by far probably the best running back in the backfield. Catching the ball, running the ball, he is the total package. Is Big Ben holding the Steelers back?
Well, the funny thing is, man, in the midpoint of the season, like, for people who watch, the Terrible Towel thing that I do on Tuesdays, I was ready by like week 8. I was like, Ben ain't the same.
Yeah.
It's time for him to retire. I know he last year it hurt me that he said it right after the loss. I'm like, Ben, come on, you don't say that. So I'm like, maybe his heart's not in it anymore. He's definitely gonna retire if we don't make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, from week 8 on, Ben Roethlisberger was in Ben Roethlisberger mode. I mean, having beast games, accuracy, decision making. He looked like a capable Ben. And I'm thinking, oh, he's back. However, though, I don't know, man. I know because you know football. People don't realize how bad that Ryan Shazier injury hurt. Not just him as a player, but just what it did to the defense. He's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Are you going to fill that position again? He's a 4.3 speed middle linebacker. I mean, you just don't find those every day. I don't know if we are going to have the defense in the next 2 to 3 years to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't see it. I think Ben may have won his last bowl. We got the offense, but let's be honest. As a stern fan, there's no way you let Jacksonville run the ball and throw play action on you for 45 points, man, at home in the divisional round. That just
with a guy named Blake Bortles at quarterback.
Come on, man.
It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. It was Blake Bortles at quarterback. I know you was sick to your stomach watching that.
And I'm looking at that.
If they play that game in the second half, they play the same way in the second half played in the first half, they beat Jacksonville. Because they figured Jacksonville out and started shutting it down. Fournette gets hurt in that game, so he comes out. But
pathetic, man.
It was just a horrible way to end the season.
It worries me, man, because you think, football sometimes I didn't understand this when I was younger, but I get it now. It takes time. Sometimes your corner might not click until the 3rd year, or your safety or your nose tackle, And if you look around that team, man, I mean, we got a couple vets, but if you really think about it, Stephon Tuitt and Cam Hayward are like the old guys now.
Yeah.
You still got Artie Burns only going into his 3rd year. Sean Davis, which now they're thinking he's probably going to move to free safety because Burnett is there. It's a lot of youth. Mike Hilton, who came out of nowhere as a slot corner. Cam Sutton, they're talking about, he might get more playing time, but these guys are young. So I just don't. Yeah. Are we going to be a top 10 defense? I don't know. If so, I think we have the offense to do it. I think we need to do it this year, though, before Bell get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. This may be Le'Veon's last year.
Might be it, man. What do you think about that? If you don't mind asking me, asking you a question.
Okay, so
17 million. What do you think?
This is what I'm going to say, and it's going to apply to the Dallas Cowboys as well. Pay that man what he wants to get paid. He has earned every dollar that he is asking for. Without Le'Veon Bell, that offense is not the top offense that they are.
Not to say.
Teams have to come into the box to stop Le'Veon Bell. It's the reason Antonio Brown is wide open, why he gets single coverage a lot. You now got Juju. You got so many things work because of that guy in the backfield. Pay that man his money. Do you ever think, listen, when the Cowboys had Emmitt Smith and they won their first Super Bowl and Emmitt Smith held out the next year, he missed the first 2 games and the Cowboys looked like garbage. They were hot garbage. They were 0-2 to start the year, and Jerry Jones pulled his checkbook out and said, pay Emmitt whatever he wants. And when Emmitt came back, they went on a run and won they back-to-back Super Bowls. People don't realize how important that running back is when he is an elite running back. And Le'Veon Bell is the leader of elite running backs. Pay that man his money, please.
Yeah, I think he's worth it. The only thing, I guess, just knowing your team's way is kind of getting in the way of, me saying do it. Like, he's worth it. He's worth 17 million. Listen, if quarterbacks can make 100 million and wide receivers make 17, 20 million, Le'Veon Bell is essential, like you said, to that offense because you have to respect his run. You gotta look at the catch he made against Tevin Smith in the playoff game. Incredible. That was great coverage.
Absolutely.
The dude is a beast, man. It scares me a little bit though, because I think he's pushing the Steelers a little too far. I don't know if they're gonna jump out there and pay 17 million a year. That's a lot. Because rumor is they offered him 15 this year. They came up. Last year it was like 13 million per year. I think they offered him I think they said it was like a 3-year, 42 million or something like that. Turned it down. This year is rumored that they've gone up as high as 15 million, but he wants 17. I don't know. I just don't know if the Rooneys are gonna. I don't know if they're gonna pay that much. I mean, maybe I would too, because I feel the same way you do. He's worth it. He's still what? He just turned 26. You could probably get good 2-3 more years out of him. Structure it the way y'all always do it. Give him most of it in advance.
Exactly.
Cut him later if you need to, and there you go. But I'm scared that they're not going to do it, man. I think they're so stern in what they do. They have a high, and that's as far as they're going to go. So,
and you know what? There'll be 31 teams that will be chomping at the bit if Le'Veon Bell walks away from Pittsburgh, because unless you have a Zeke, Fournette in your backfield, Le'Veon Bell is a super upgrade to your team. And so teams are going to pay him 17. Teams will pay over 17 million for Le'Veon Bell to come to their squad. And so, like you said, they can structure that contract to make it work to help Pittsburgh out. But I think Le'Veon's just saying, look, this is what I'm worth. You know my pedigree. You know what I'm giving you. And you know what? He's not one of those backs that takes a lot of big shots. He's not a Leonard Fournette. He does not run up in that hole, full speed taking shots. He's smart about how he runs. He gets out of bounds. He gets down. So he's got a lot of rubber left on those tires. And so I'd like to see him stay in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I know you can talk Pittsburgh football all day long. So we'll wrap up real quick. And I know you actually have some streaming that you're gonna do tonight. So did you decide what game streams tonight on the channel?
Let me check, man, because I did a little poll here, and let me see what the people want. It's probably gonna end up being MLB the Show, man.
The Show. That's what I voted. I want to see MLB the Show. But people were also voting for NBA 2K. So we may see that.
Yeah, because if I do 2K, just to give you a heads up, what I would do is I'm going to play like a playoff matchup. It's probably going to be the Sixers since they're actually playing tonight. And I was just going to like recreate that matchup. But it looks like MLB The Show is the game that's in the lead. So that's more than likely what I'll be streaming. is the show. So that's
all
what
right,
it
man.
will be.
I can't thank you enough taking time out your busy day, jumping on Expert's Corner. Man, people don't even realize, man, if you hit SimBall up, man, he is like one of the coolest dudes. Like he just like Shop. If you hit him on Twitter, man, he'll either respond to you immediately, but eventually he'll get back to you. He loves talking Madden. Now don't come to him and ask him what's in Madden 19 because you're not getting none of that info. Please don't waste his time because I'm sure the block game is strong if you keep harassing him about Madden 19.
Yeah, man, but those NDAs are real, guys. Yeah,
yes,
you gotta be careful.
Yes, we want to keep him as a game changer, guys. He is trying to help us make Madden the game we want. But man, I appreciate you jumping on, taking time out your day, and jumping on the show with me. Oh
man, definitely, anytime, man. And like you said, I mean, you know, I hate talking about myself, but I'm just a regular guy, man. You know, whether I was 200,000 subs or 2, I'd be the same person. Like I never try to act like, oh, I'm bigger than this person. I mean, because we all know those people are out there. We see them all the time on Twitter, and they're in the gaming community. Yeah, it's not me, man. I will give you conversation. We could talk about whatever. That's what it's all about. To me, I take pride in being a game changer. I say it on our show all the time. I'm the guy that I used to look for. I wanted somebody to give me the real insight. Yeah. And there's very few game changers, unfortunately, that really do that. It's only a handful of us. So it's always about the community with me, man.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate you jumping on. All right, guys, that is SimFBallCritic. Make sure you check him out on Twitter, YouTube, all the places that you want to see him. He is available for y'all. All right, guys, last part of the show, you know it's Expert's Thoughts. So the first one I got is if you are watching this show, I need you guys to go to my Twitter page, DML Expert's Corner. I just tweeted Rex, John, Clint. I want to get one of those guys on Expert's Corner. Reach out, retweet it, send a message to those guys. Let them know I'd love to talk to them. And we don't even have to talk Madden. I'd love to just talk life with some of those guys and what they got going on in their world. Last thought, the NBA playoffs are upon us. Guys, Cleveland looked horrible versus Indiana. Philadelphia looks like they are going to be the team to beat in the East, and that was without Joel Embiid on the roster. Now, Joel is sitting out game 2 as well. He should be back for game 3. But you know your boy Xpert picked the 76ers to come out the East. I think LeBron is done in the East. He did not. He looked good, but nobody could knock a shot down for him for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And my team in the West, the Rockets looked very, very good, guys. So we're going to keep track of this Rockets versus the 76ers in the finals. I know I picked the Rockets, but I may have to switch my pick after watching Ben Simmons go off in that game 1. But you have been tuned in to Expert's Corner. My special guest, SimBall, was on the show. It's your boy, Xpert, and I'm out.
Thank you for tuning into the DML Network. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button below.